Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now I haven't recorded for a few days because I've had a bit of a bad throat, so I decided to give my throat a bit of a rest before doing anything else. So here we are today, and we're going to be looking at a band I've not heard of before. A band called Sumo Cyco. Now I'm assuming the name of the band is Cyco. It's spelled C-Y-C-O. So I'm guessing it's supposed to mean psycho, kind of like the way the Sci-Fi Channel changed their name to Sci-Fi to somehow represent sci-fi. Anyway, so I'm assuming that's what they've done with their name there. Now, having not heard of them before, as is my usual, I did a bit of research and I found that Sumo Cyco is an independent punk rock heavy metal band from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The band launched in March of 2011 and has released 2 albums, 16 singles and 17 official music videos, which is a really clever trick. They've released 16 songs and 17 videos. How'd they manage that? Anyway, the trio, so apparently it's a 3-piece band, launched as a band in March 2011 and had their first show opening for Hollywood Undead in April of that year. So they weren't even together that long before they were opening for a fairly well-known band. I mean, I'm not familiar with Hollywood Undead's music. I don't think I've ever heard any, but I have heard of them. And they were performing for a crowd of 1,000. So, you know, not bad for a first show. Sumo Cyco has also shared the stage with Coal Chamber, Filter, Life of Agony, 3 bands that I am rather fond of, Finger 11, The Salads, and Ragadeth with Mishi Me. No idea who that is. They have a strong online presence and direct both their own music videos and promotional videos. And the band mixes influences from the likes of System of a Down, Rob Zombie, and No Doubt. What an unusual combination that is. Now, I like System of a Down, I like Rob Zombie, and I like No Doubt. I can't imagine those 3 mixed together, though. Strange. Musically, their sound blends heavy metal guitars, blast beats, and dance hall rhythms. Interesting. So, given the descriptors that have been given there, Rob Zombie, System of a Down, No Doubt, blast beats, guitars, and dance hall, I have no idea what I'm expecting to hear. So, yeah, we'll jump into this video. We're looking at a track called Vertigo. So we'll jump into this and see what we've got. And, yeah, we'll come out the other side and see. So, Vertigo by Sumo Cyco.
I'm me, then who's that?
Time for the next initiation.
Well, that was horrible. I did not like that at all. Now, the first thing to notice is it said in the information I found that they were a three-piece band, and there was clearly 4 of them there. But that was just not good. I mean, if you take out the guitars and the drums, it's just a generic pop song. Even lyrically, if you read the lyrics and put those lyrics over a regular pop music beat, it would just be a regular pop song. To me, this is just some pop princess who wants to be edgy. That's what it seems like to me. You know, I mean, even the way she sings, the way she presents herself in the music video, just the whole thing together, it's just another pop princess who wants to be edgy and cool. I mean, the actual style of the music and the style of the singing sounds like something from like the very early 2000s or the late 1990s, when this sort of rap metal became a really big thing. You know, it was hugely popular at the time. And thankfully, it sort of died out a little bit. You still got some, but those are the bands that can actually pull it off and do it well. And this band just isn't. Personally, I don't think they're very good at all. They're just no. And you know, I've heard other bands. I've covered a band twice now, I think, who do heavy metal with electronica and dance hall beats, and they do it well. Neon Empire, I think I've covered them twice now, I think. But they mix things like hardcore metal with electronica / dance hall techno rhythms, and they do it very, very well, and they sound great. This band is just a pop band with guitars and drums. That's it. They do not do it well. The drum and bass in the background is so overpowering that it just makes it a noise. That it's not good for me anyway. I don't like it at all. And lyrically, it's just a pop song. You know, it's got nothing to it. It sounds like someone talking about, you know, being so high on love because they're in love with someone. And there was even images of her right near the end taking pills and tripping out. You know, that's, you know, saying she got vertigo, suggesting that she's feeling high. And that's not something I'm particularly fond of. So, as much as it pains me to do so, we'll go through the lyrics. It goes, oh, vertigo, oh, vertigo, oh, vertigo, oh, vertigo. Tell me what you do if you can't touch the floor. Gravity's flipped, I'm sick, and I can't take no more. I'm running at full speed like I'm under attack. I got this will to survive, I won't fall in your trap. Unsteady, eyes heavy, I've got to escape this feeling. Why is it so damn hard to see? You've got me so high. You got me so high up I cannot breathe. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. This time I'll set myself free. No, you won't get the best of me. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. So, you know, this person is giving her feelings of being high, and she's so high she feels dizzy. And like you can hear from those opening lines, it sounds just like a regular pop song. You know, there's nothing deep or anything like that. It's just sort of Anyway, carries on. The hounds are at my heels, got no time to react. I feel their breath on my neck and their teeth at my back. Hang me on a wire and hope it doesn't snap. Blood rushes to my head, my vision's overlapped. I'm ready, don't test me. I got to break free from this feeling. Why is it so damn hard to see? You got me so high up I cannot breathe. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. This time I'll set myself free. No, you won't get the best of me. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. Oh, look at the time, tick-tick-tocking like a bomb in my mind. I may be in danger because I'm flying blind. Live like I'm dying, I'll commit the crime. Never come down, no longer bound, never give up, pressure's on now. World spinning round, I'll never quit, no, I won't come down. Oh, vertigo, oh, vertigo. Why is it so damn hard to see? You got me so high up I cannot breathe. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. This time I'll set myself free. No, you won't get the best of me. You give me vertigo. Vertigo. I got vertigo. Vertigo. And that's it. That is literally it. It's just awful. The lyrics are just shallow crap from... You know, this sort of thing could have been written by Stockaken and Waterman. You know, this is something you'd expect to hear in the late 90s on Top of the Pops. You know, it's just pop music garbage. I do not like this at all. This band are just terrible. Now, I do say that I won't judge a band by just one example of their work alone, because this could be an outlier of a track. This could be the worst example of their work. So I'll have to go back and check them out at some point again. But if I was to just go by this one track, I would not ever listen to them again, because it is just rubbish. There is nothing at all that I like about this piece of music. It is terrible. You know, normally I do try and find something nice to say about pieces of music. Even if I don't like it, I do try and find something nice to say about it. But I just cannot find any redeeming qualities about this piece of music. It was horrible. I actually hate myself for listening to that. It was just bad. People might think I'm overreacting, but I genuinely, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm not gonna make up some like, oh, you know, it wasn't all that bad. I like this and that, but I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And I hated it. It was bad. I actually have to go and listen to something else. I might just go and listen to something like, I don't know, Insomnium, just to get this piece of music out of my ears. Because despite the fact I've stopped listening to it, I can still hear it going on in there, and no, don't like it. Just terrible. And like I said, normally I can find something nice to say about it, but no. It's just another pop princess who wants to be edgy. That's it. No, not good at all. So I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, which would of course be a massive help to me, since everything I create for this channel gets immediately demonetized, so I make absolutely nothing from everything that I create, which is a little bit frustrating, but you know, it is only fair that the artists get recognition for their work. You know, even if they do take all of the credit for my video, not just the part that involves them. But, you know, that's just the way it is. So, you know, if you'd like to help support this channel, help me improve the channel, you know, maybe upgrade this microphone that everybody has complained about, you know, get this background finally looking decent, you know, that'd be, of course, a massive help to me. Now, there is an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue if you should so desire. There is a limit on how frequently you can do that. You're limited to doing that once a month, and that's just to be fair to people who suggest videos through Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube comments. And if you do suggest a track through those more regular means, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, do know it could take me a while to get around to your suggestion, since I do get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it should get done eventually. It just might take me a while to get to it. Also, MetalHead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose goal is to put an end to hate crimes, and one of the main facets of that is hate crimes against people of the alternative culture. And that's something that I believe in very, very strongly, because it's something that's been going on for decades. It's something I've had to deal with for most of my life as well. But it's also something that is more often than not just sort of brushed to the side, swept under the carpet and ignored, and nobody does anything about it. And that is something that really, really needs to change. Because every day all around the world, people from the alternative culture are getting violently attacked just purely for the fact that they're listening to different music or wearing different clothing. And, we're not talking about, like, insults being shouted at them and, getting shoulder rammed as they walk down the street. No, we're talking about real violent crimes where people are getting brutally and violently assaulted, sometimes getting hospitalized with broken limbs and sometimes even more life-threatening injuries. But nothing ever gets said, nothing ever gets done. We never hear about this in the news. No one ever takes a stand to get something done to stop this from happening. Every day we hear about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, ableism. We hear these on a daily basis. From the most violent of these crimes where someone is murdered because of the colour of their skin or their sexual identity or their religious belief, down to the most petty and pathetic of these crimes where some entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space, or because a man of colour is walking down a neighbourhood that they don't think he belongs in because they're white privileged arseholes. We hear these every single day. Every facet of them in every type of media you can imagine. But someone from the alternative culture, someone from the alternative community, gets violently and brutally attacked and beaten to within an inch of their life and nothing gets said. And that is something that needs to change. The last time there was widespread talk about that sort of thing happening was 14 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently and brutally attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people who beat them, kicked them, punched them, knocked them to the ground and stamped on their heads so violently that they both ended up in comas. Now, Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive. He was in a coma for about a week and a half, maybe a little bit longer. I can't remember exactly how long, but he thankfully survived. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and she died. This young woman was 20 years old and was beaten to death just because of the music that she listened to and the clothing that she wore. Now, at the time, this was all over the news, as rightfully it should have been. But as all things do over time, other news stories came in and it sort of faded away. But in the 14 years since that has happened, we've not heard anything similar. But the thing is, there have been several hundred, if not several thousand, similar incidents since that happened. Just a couple of years ago, there was a young woman in Glasgow, Scotland, who was violently and brutally attacked twice on the same night by a group of people, another group of people, 5 or 6 people against one young woman. And she was attacked twice and brutally beaten by this group. This was not in the news. This took place in Glasgow. I can walk to Scotland from where I live now. This isn't far from where I live. This wasn't in the news. It wasn't on TV. Nothing was said. The only reason I found out about it is because a friend told me about it. And the only reason he knew about it was because the person who got attacked was a friend of his. This wasn't in the news. Now, this young woman was violently attacked by a group of people and beaten brutally twice. If there hadn't been a passing taxi driver who put a stop to the attack, which is what happened, he didn't stop to see if she was okay, he just put a stop to the attack. If he hadn't stopped when he had, if he hadn't put an end to that violent attack, who's to say that she wouldn't have been murdered and beaten to death, just like Sophie Lancaster was? Then it would have been in the news. And that is unacceptable. We shouldn't have to wait for someone to lose their life before this gets spoken about, before something gets done. And if we keep ignoring it, if we keep brushing it under the carpet and not doing anything about it, that's what's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time before what happened to Sophie Lancaster happens again if we keep ignoring it. And this is what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this sort of thing is going on. They want to stop these sorts of attacks from happening because they don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks because of the simple-minded actions of a group of people who couldn't handle the fact that Sophie and her boyfriend liked something different. Just because someone likes something else isn't an excuse to violently attack someone. And this sort of thing needs to stop. And we need to stop ignoring it and brushing it under the carpet. How many people have to lose their life before something gets done? Because Sophie Lancaster is not the first person to die from this type of attack. Historically, this has been going on for decades. This has been going on longer than I've been alive. There was a punk in America who was intentionally run over and killed by one of these high school sophomore, football jock type guys. And despite the fact that there were witnesses that saw him do it, the judge let him off. He let him off a murder charge because he didn't want to ruin the kid's future prospects at being a football star. He murdered a man just because he didn't like the music or the clothes that the guy wore, and he got away with it. Just because the judge thought, it's only a punk. That is unacceptable. We cannot allow this to carry on. Something needs to be done. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their overall goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously you don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it's be a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands, maybe even that one if you fancy it. They've got a whole bunch of other cool stuff over there. But the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we get more people involved, and the sooner we take more action against this sort of thing, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.